Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. My name is Jack Kolk, and this is Introduction to Information Security and Privacy Key Concepts, brought to you by ACR2 Solutions. Okay, so list of topics. We're going to have a general overview of what we're going to cover. We're going to get into information security specifically, information security policies and governance, physical access controls, how do you protect the information, email and internet security, security outside the office, privacy, and then incident reporting, what happens if there's an incident and maybe a breach, and then summarize what we've learned here today. This course is designed to provide an introductory background knowledge of common privacy and security terminology, concepts, brief examples, and appropriate responses. Employees, contractors, and others with access to company systems and networks with knowledge to protect that information systems and sensitive data from internal and external threats. The course will take approximately 30 minutes to complete. The test should take 5 to 10 minutes at most. Information Security Overview. Did you know? The Internet Crime Complaint Center, IC3, reported that consumers lost over $520 million due to Internet scams in 2012, the last year that we have complete records from. The Federal Trade Commission counted over 360,000 complaints about identity theft in 2012. Every year, cyber attacks become more sophisticated and result in larger losses of personal financial data. And it's going to be a banner year for 2015, and 2016 is just around the corner. Equipped with knowledge about how to protect information system, it's vital to the effectiveness of the company's operations and the ability to accomplish the ongoing mission. Information Security Overview, looking ahead to the test. Your test will follow this format below. A question, an option to choose the best answer, typically 4 to 5, and you need to choose a single answer. What is information security? Information security, IS, the protection of information and information systems from unauthorized access, use, disclosure, disruption, modification, or destruction in order to provide confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Information security is achieved through implementing technical management and operational measures designed to protect, you got it, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. We'll define this more thoroughly shortly. The goal of an IS program is to understand, manage, and reduce the risk under the control of the organization. Information security key concepts. There are 3 elements to protecting information. Confidentiality, protecting information from unauthorized disclosure to people or processes. Integrity, assuring the reliability and accuracy of information IT. And availability, again, CIA, defending information system and resources from malicious, unauthorized users to ensure accessibility by the authorized user. We're going to give a good example in a moment. Information security key concepts. Your bank ATM is a classic example of an information system that must be confidential, available, and have integrity. Imagine if your account was not kept confidential and someone else was able to access it when they approached the ATM. How much damage could they do? Imagine if your bank's ATM was rarely available when you needed it. How could you continue to use that bank? And lastly, imagine if every time you went to the ATM, the balance it displayed was inaccurate. How could you manage the poor integrity of your balance information affect your ability to use the account? Information security key concepts. Threats and vulnerabilities put information assets at risk. Threats, the potential to cause unauthorized disclosure, changes, or destruction to an asset. They've got the impact, potential to breach in confidentiality, integrity, and failure and unavailability of information. Threat agents can be natural, environmental, and man-made. Vulnerabilities, any flaw or weakness that can be exploited and can result in a breach or a violation of the system's security policies. Risk, the likelihood that a threat will exploit a vulnerability. For example, a system may not have a backup power source, hence it is vulnerable to a threat such as a thunderstorm, which creates a risk. Information security key concepts. Security controls or safeguards. They are the policies, procedures, the software, hardware, combined with best practices and designed to manage risk and protect IT assets. Common example of controls include security awareness and training programs like this one, physical security, guards, badges, fences, and restricting access to information systems that contain sensitive information. Information security policy and governance. Why we need to be trained and be aware of the policies and the best practice is not just academic. The privacy and security go back to specific regulations, as seen above, such as the Privacy Act of 1974 and the security rules and regulations starting in the 1990s, such as HIPAA privacy and the Clinger-Cohen Act of 1996. The National Institute of Standards and Technologies, known as NIST, is charged with creating the standards and guidelines to meet these laws for the federal government, but is also involved in recommendations to industries, especially critical infrastructure industries, but also the industries that support the government. Okay, so now we're going to get into specific areas. We're going to start out with physical access controls. Physical access controls. There are many ways to organize the controls and too many to cover in this course, so we selected those which can have large benefits for most organizations and individuals immediately. Password protection. A strong password for your network account and other applications is a basic protection mechanism. While it's tempting to create an easy or generic password, easy to remember, it's not very secure. Tool rules for strong passwords. Create a password of at least 8 and ideally 12 to 16 in length, and passwords should contain at least one of each of the following types of characters: capital letters, lowercase letters, numbers, and special characters. Physical access controls. Having trouble remembering passwords? Use a passphrase. Use the initials of a song or a phrase to create a unique password. Example: I'm not going to take it anymore becomes capital ING 2 TIAM exclamation point. Commit passwords to memory. If you're still having trouble, then write it down and keep it in a secure place, like your wallet. Do not store written passwords near your computer or on your desk. Physical access controls. Change passwords often as per your company policy. Many systems will force a password change whether you like it or not. Change passwords immediately if you suspect it's been compromised. Create a different password for each system or application. Again, this can be tricky. Mnemonics, many people have different endings. Do not use generic information that can be easily obtained, like family member names, pet names, birth dates, phone numbers, vehicle information, etc. Never share your password with anyone. Physical access controls. Moving on from passwords. Tailgating. Physical security is an important information system safeguard. Limiting physical access to information systems and infrastructure to only authorized personnel diminishes the likelihood that information will be stolen or misused. Help combat tailgating. Never allow anyone to follow you into the building or a secured area who doesn't belong there. Be aware of the procedure for entering a secure area, securing your workstation when you leave that area, securing your workstation during emergencies. Do not be afraid to challenge or report anyone who does not display the appropriate identification or visitor's badge. Escort visitors to and from your office and around the facility. Don't let them say, "I'll let myself out." Do not allow anyone else to use your identification card for building or secure access areas. Report any suspicious activity to a security officer or appropriate personnel. Physical access controls continued. Physical security protection tips. Session lock your computer when not in use. Whenever you get up or leave the building, make sure that the screen is in session lock. Store and transport removable media such as CDs, DVDs, flash drives, external drives in such a secure manner to prevent theft or loss. Never leave them lying around and always keep an inventory. Only connect company authorized removable media devices. Don't connect something that you find in the parking lot to your company computer. Encrypt all devices which contain PII, personally identifiable information, and sensitive information. Keep sensitive information out of view when visitors are present. This includes monitors, but also paper with sensitive information on it. And quickly retrieve faxes when they're sent to you, if you still get faxes. Many times they come through the email these days. Always confirmed with the recipient if it's a physical fax or when you print something that you actually got it. Email and Internet security continued. Incident response and breach. The term breach has major implications for any organization. The definition of breach for HIPAA and FTC, so the Federal Trade Commission and the Office of Civil Rights, all right, define in general the term breach means the unauthorized acquisition, access, use, or disclosure of protected health information which compromises the security or privacy of such information, except where an authorized person to whom such information is disclosed could not reasonably have been able to retain the information. There are some exceptions, but let's focus more on ways to avoid. Email and Internet security continued. Incident response and breach. Never use the term breach casually. In the normal course of discovering, the discussion is there are some events that need to be reviewed. This appears to be some kind of an incident is recommended language. If the incident involves data that is adequately encrypted, it is not a breach and not reportable in the same way that a breach would be. HIPAA-covered entities and business associates should have a written breach response policy and protocol. The policy and protocol should provide clear guidance, and employees need to know how to proceed from that guidance. If it isn't determined eventually that it is a breach, there are rules that must be followed. Email and Internet security continued. Cybercrime and cybercriminals. Criminals terrorize the nation states with malicious intent to work daily to steal and disrupt and change the information systems at all the critical infrastructure industries and industry in general. The Sony breach changed many people's views on what can go wrong. They didn't used to take it as seriously until they saw how many different ways a company can get impacted and lose control of its data. Cybercrime continued. Cybercrime refers to any crime that involves a computer and a network. Offenses are primarily committed through the internet. Common examples of cybercrime include credit card fraud, spam, phishing, identity theft. Company information and information system assets are a high-value target, but your personal information may get swept up in the process. Home Depot and Target are recent large examples of cybercrime. Cybercrime continued. What kinds of cybercrime scams do I need to watch out for? Social engineering. A scam artist who contacts individuals via phone, email, text messages, or even in person to gather information for the purposes of fraud. Phishing. A social engineer uses fake email to trick recipients into giving up credit card information, passwords, or other sensitive information that allows them to ultimately access the network. Cybercrime continued. What additional kinds of scams do I need to watch out? There's some that are very similar, but enough different that there's different terms for them. Smishing, similar to phishing, see previous. A social engineer sends a fake SMS text message to your cell phone announcing you've won. Well, you haven't won. And then pretexting, all right? When a social engineer impersonates someone with authority, so pretext, pretend, and creates a fake scenario to trick unsuspecting individuals into sharing private or sensitive information. Target, one more time, $148 million is a large cybercrime, and that's just to date. Social engineering. These individuals to the right may look trustworthy, but in fact are sophisticated cybercriminals. Or they could be. They use social engineering techniques to obtain your personal information, access sensitive company information, and even steal your identity. Every year at Black Hat Security Conference, a social engineering contest is held, and it's amazing what they're able to achieve. Social engineering defined. Social engineering is classically defined as the art of manipulating and exploiting human behavior to gain unauthorized access to systems for information for fraudulent or criminal purposes. Social engineering attacks are more common and more successful than computer hacking attacks against the network. Social engineering continued. Social engineering attacks are based on natural human desires and traits like trust, desire to help, desire to avoid conflict, fear, curiosity, innocence and carelessness, typically caused by lack of training, figure into it. Social engineers will gain information by exploiting the desire of humans to trust and want to help each other. So who are the targets of social engineers? Social engineers want any information or items that will give them access to a company's system or the company's facilities. Common targets are passwords, security badges, access to secured areas of the building, uniforms, smartphones, wallets, employees' personal information. Social engineers will gain information by exploiting the desire of humans to trust and help each other, as we've said before. Email and internet security, phishing attacks. Phishing is a social engineering scam whereas intruders seek to access your personal information or passwords by posing as legitimate business organizations with legitimate reasons to request the information. Commonly an email or a text alerts you to a problem with your account, asks you to click on a link, provide information to correct the situation. These emails look real and often contain the organization's logo and trademarks. The URL in the email resembles a legitimate website address, for example, Amazons.com. Notice there's an extra S. Spear phishing is an attack that targets a specific individual or business. They're very sophisticated. This email is addressed to you and appears to be sent from an organization you know and trust. Sometimes Federal Express, UPS are very common. Whaling is a phishing or spear phishing attack aimed at a senior official in the organization. Phishing examples. The impact of social engineering and phishing can't be overemphasized. Phishing emails often appear to be legitimate. Take a look at these real-life examples. Better Business Bureau complaint. Executive receives an email that looks like it comes from the Better Business Bureau. The message either details a complaint to a customer has supposedly filed or claims the company has been accused of identity theft. The recipient is asked to click on a link and contest the claim. Once the link is clicked, a computer virus is downloaded. Phishing example number 2. Phishing emails appear to be legitimate. Travel trouble. An email appears to have a notice from an airline that you have purchased a ticket and arranged to check several bags. Many consumers, outraged because they never planned any such trip, click on a link, the email to complain. The problem is the link leads to an identity theft page where the victims are asked to share sensitive data. If you receive such an email, simply ignore it. Combating phishing. Never provide your password to anyone via email or anyone at all if possible. Be suspicious of any email that requests personal information, contains spelling and grammatical errors, i.e. it's probably from someone not from your country, asks you to click on a link, is unexpected, or from a company or organization from whom you do not have a relationship. If you are suspicious of an email, do not click on the link provided, do not open any attachments in the email, do not provide personal information or financial information, of course, and forward it to your company's security incident response center if you have one, or delete it from your inbox. Identity theft. Did you know the Federal Trade Commission estimates that 9 million people have their identity stolen every year in the U.S.? Identity thieves use names, addresses, social security numbers, and financial information of their victims to obtain credit cards, loans, bank accounts for themselves. Identity theft continued. If you believe you are a victim of identity theft, contact the 3 credit reporting companies, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, and place a fraud alert on your report. Inform your bank, credit card issuers, and other financial institution you are the victim of identity theft, and if you know who stole your information, contact the police, file a report. Preventing identity theft. Combat identity theft. Be cautious when providing your Social Security number to anyone. Know how and why it will be used, and of course whether they really need it. Review credit cards and bank statements at least monthly for unauthorized transactions. Use strong passwords for your home computer and websites you visit, especially email accounts and financial institutions. Leave your Social Security card and password at home in a safe place. Never leave them in your purse or your wallet or carry them around with you for no particular reason. Shred sensitive documents and mail containing your name and address. Email and internet security continued. Malware. Malware, short for malicious software, does damage to, steals information from, or disrupts a computer system. Malware is commonly installed through email attachments, downloading infected files, or visiting an infected website. It can corrupt files, erase your hard drive, or give hackers access to your computer. A particularly hostile form of malware is ransomware. Combating malware. Read email in plain text and do not use preview planes if possible. Scan attachments with antivirus software before downloading. That, of course, you should always have antivirus software installed on any machine you use. Do not trust any attachments, even those from recognized senders. Delete suspicious emails without opening them. If you believe your computer is infected, contact your IT service provider or designated contact person from your organization. Email and Internet security, spam. Email spam is unsolicited messages sent to numerous recipients, similar to junk mail. Spam is dangerous because it can contain links that direct you to phishing websites or install malware on your computer. Studies estimate that between 70% and 95% of all emails on the Internet are spam. Combating spam. Never click on a link or download attachments from spam emails. Only provide your email address to legitimate business purposes. Having Gmail accounts and other kinds can be useful for suspect utilization. Do not sign website guest books and limit mailing list subscriptions. Spammers access these to obtain your email address. Spam received in your company email account should be forwarded to your designated IT service provider or contact so that it can be blacklisted. Email and Internet security continued. File sharing and peer-to-peer software. Peer-to-peer, or P2P, is typically used to download copyrighted files like music, video games, videos. Downloading files in this manner is illegal, unethical, and prohibited in company-owned computers and networks in most organizations. However, some P2P software may be necessary to meet business needs, but only in accordance with policies or permission from the CIO of your organization or your manager. The emergence of cloud sharing or hosting sites continue to blur the line. For example, read below about the Swiss-German file hosting service RapidShare. Cookies. A cookie is a text file that a website puts onto your hard drive that saves information that you typed in, like preferences or a username. Cookies can also be used for tracking your activities on the web. Cookies pose a security risk because someone could access your personal information or invade your privacy. Combat cookies. Use cookies with caution. Your browser can be set up to warn you when cookies are attempting to be placed on your machine. Confirm that the websites that ask for personal information are encrypted and that the URL begins with HTTPS. Note that there is an inherent risk anytime you enter personal information on the web. Now we're going to transition to security outside of the office. Security outside of the office. Did you know that security researchers say that 35% of data breaches at U.S. companies are caused by employees losing unencrypted laptops or other mobile devices? Traveling. Technology-enabled telework and job duties mean that many employees regularly work outside of and away from the office. Be vigilant about protecting information and information systems outside of the office. Security outside of the office. Protect information systems while traveling. Always maintain close possession of your laptop and other mobile devices. Ensure that the wireless security features are properly configured. Use caution when establishing a VPN connection through a non-secure environment, like a hotel or a coffee shop. Do not work on sensitive materials when using an insecure connection. Turn off disable wireless capability when connected via a cable LAN. Turn off your laptop while traveling so encryption is enabled. Report a loss and a theft of your laptop or other company-furnished devices immediately to your security point of contact. Security outside of the office continued. Teleworking. Proceed with caution and protect information data while teleworking. Always keep your laptop in sight to prevent loss or theft. Only use authorized equipment and authorized locations. Use a screen protector so sensitive information cannot be seen by others. Report lost or stolen equipment immediately. Security outside of the office. Home security. Many of the tips in this course can be used to protect your home computer. Criminals can use your personal information to steal your identity and ruin your finances. Protect yourself and your family on the internet at home is just as important as protecting information systems at work. Home security. These steps can safeguard your home computer. Use passwords on personal computers and mobile devices. Install and update antivirus software on your home computer. Enable the firewall on your computer and maybe in your router if you have a wireless router that has one. Routinely back up your files and make sure that you are using strong encryption on your own wireless router. Okay, so we're going to change pace here and we're going to begin with pure privacy concepts. Privacy. What is privacy really? Everyone has a good sense of what security is, and we covered that quickly, but privacy is a set of fair practices, information practices, to ensure personal information is accurate, relevant, and current, all uses of information are known and appropriate, and personal information is protected. Privacy continued. What is privacy? Protecting protected and personal information is essential to your organization. Many individuals have access to multiple types of protected information: company, sometimes patient or customer, and personnel. Successfully achieving the company's mission depends on protecting personally identifiable information from loss, theft, or misuse. Privacy continued. Personally identifiable information. Personally identifiable information, PII, can be used to distinguish or trace someone's identity or can be linked to a specific individual. Any such item of information can be PII'd, including sensitive data, medical, financial, or legal information, neutral information, names, facial photos, work address, or contextual information, file folders for a specific health condition that contains a list of treated patients. Personally identifiable information. The type of information determines the protections required by law. For example, HIPAA for some types of health information, and the Paperwork Reduction Act for information collected from citizens. PII must be protected whether in paper, electronic, or oral form. Common examples of PII or personally identifiable information. These include name, social security number, date of birth, mother's maiden name, financial records, email addresses, driver license numbers, passport numbers, personal health information, but there are other examples of PII include the following: maiden name, alias, personal identification numbers, serial numbers, social security numbers, passport numbers, driver's license number, tax ID numbers, patient identification, address information, asset information, okay, your Internet Protocol ID, your MAC address, telephone numbers, on and on, X-ray, fingerprints. These are considered to be biometric identifiers. Voice signatures, facial geometry, goes very deep, and all of them can be used to identify individuals. Privacy continued. PII in context. What is the chance that you can successfully identify a person with only this information? Mr. X lives in zip code 02138 and was born July 31st, 1945. A, 1%, B, 87%, C, 50%, D, 34%. The answer is B. Read the rest of the story and look it up online if you're interested. Privacy. The concept of spillage. Spillage is the improper storage, transmission, or processing of PII. Combating spillage. Share information on a need-to-know basis only. Never access PII unless authorized to do so to perform your job. Only store PII on encrypted devices if possible. Encrypt emails and double-check that the recipient's name is correct before sending. When faxing PII, confirm that you have the correct fax number and follow your fax policy, which may require calling to confirm receipt. Privacy continued. Roles and responsibilities of personnel. As a member of the workforce, you are responsible for following the privacy policies and procedures of your company. Your company's privacy policies should require you to report suspected privacy violations or incidents, shred documents containing PII or put them in the appropriate receptacles, never place them in the regular trash, and contact the IT company responsible for proper disposal of equipment like copy machines, faxes, and computers if you don't have an internal group. Roles and responsibilities continued. Additionally, your company's privacy policies and procedures should require you to collect, use, and disclose personal information only for reasons that are a legitimate job function, supported the mission of the company, and are allowed by law, access information only for authorized purposes, and safeguard personal information in your possession, whether it be in paper or electronic format. Privacy continued. Consequences of privacy violations. Privacy violations can result in severe consequences for you, including discipline, fines, and potentially imprisonment. It's a criminal offense to use healthcare information for personal gain. PII must be protected at all times, even if the individual information cannot be used singularly to identify them. Incident reporting. Privacy and data incidents. Privacy and data incidents can result in inability for the company to fulfill its mission, disruption of day-to-day operations, damage to the reputation of the company, and harm to the individual's health or financial status. In the case of data being lost, stolen, or misused, it is important to respond appropriately and quickly. A prompt and correct response could limit the severity of the incident and protect privacy of the individuals. Incident reporting. Continued. Common privacy scenarios. Privacy incidents most often occur with loss, damage, theft, or improper disposal of equipment, media, or papers containing PII. Accidentally sending a report containing PII to a person not authorized to view the report, or sending it in an unprotected manner, e.g. unencrypted. Allowing an unauthorized person to use your computer or credentials to access PII. It is important to make sure you have your computer with password protection. Privacy common scenarios continued. Privacy incidents most often occur from discussing work-related information such as a person's medical records in a public area, or accessing the private records of friends, neighbors, celebrities, etc. for casual viewing. This can lead to criminal charges. Any security situation that could compromise PII, e.g. virus, phishing, email, social engineering attacks. Incident reporting continued. Report an incident. Do not investigate the incident on your own. Immediately report suspected incidents, especially those that could compromise PII, regardless of whether it is in electronic, paper, or oral format. Any employee can report an incident. You are not required to speak to your manager before reporting an incident, but should keep management informed when it occurs. Report incidents to your computer security incident response team or manager or whoever the person you report to is. And we're almost done. Summary. Summary of objectives. You should now be able to define information system security, identify federal regulations that mandate the protection of IT assets, understand your company's IT security concerns and practices or the direction they are moving towards, understand personal responsibility to protect information systems, recognize threats to information systems and privacy, identify best practice to secure IT assets and data in and out of the office, define privacy and personally identifiable information, PII, and identify the correct way to respond to a suspected or confirmed security or privacy incident. Congratulations! You have now completed the Security and Privacy Awareness Overview. It's now time to take your exam. Simply return to the main menu, choose the appropriate exam. If you complete the adequate score, you will get a certificate. If not, review the materials and try again. Good luck!